This time at the Quick Speed Shop, check it out. Working on my brown Dodge. I'm working on a carburetor, putting a throttle linkage together. Also painting the rear custom step bumper, put that on. Messing around with some lights on the back, doing all kinds of stuff, a little bit of wiring. Getting this thing just about buttoned up. It's got to get out of here. I got another project coming in that's under a time crunch. So this thing's got to get functional enough where I can drive it on out of here and park it outside for a couple weeks while we work on another project. But we're going to work on this today, and we're going to start right now. And first thing I'm going to show you is check this thing out. What was that? I'm building like, you remember the TV show BattleBots, where they build like robots and they all kinds of like flail and stuff and things that blew things up and like caused damage to the other robots? That's what I'm building here. Check it out. You walk up to it. Ah, your knee. No, I'm just kidding. I just welded this piece onto the receiver hitch. I'll show you why. This is why I want to mount this little LED light bar here I got from Harbor Freight. It's like 26 bucks, I think. And we're going to cut this piece off here at the line. I just welded it on here. But this is going to be my plow light when I plow this truck and back up. And these things are meant for like ATVs or trucks or whatever. They come with a plug, and you can sell a harness. It comes pre-wired to hook on the battery. It's got a relay, it's got a switch and all that. And it plugs into this, and they have a splitter if you want to run two, they can plug in. I'm just going to run one here. But before I put the bumper back on here, which is freshly painted with hammer tone paint, I just need to get this mounted up. So I welded this piece of flat stock to the receiver hitch, and the bumper comes down to about here, so the light will be hidden under there. So let's start off looking at that, but check out my awesome bumper. I painted this off camera, and I painted it like a hammer tone finish here with, I started out with Krylon, all-in-one paint. Oh, it's paint and primer. Oh, this one, Rustoleum. Anyways, I guess I didn't realize that paint primer in one. Maybe that's why I was having trouble getting to look like hammer tone of that, but I had primed the bumper beforehand. So I finished it off with Rustoleum hammered there. So if you're painting stuff like bumpers or mailboxes, you can do that. But I got several coats on here. I ended up having to put it on real heavy to get it to like hammer tone out. That's not perfect because it's rattle can, but it got me my desired effect here of hammer tone action. It's hammer tone up here on top of the diamond plate. And then up here I'm going to put some anti-skid pads so I can step on it and not slip off and not scratch the crap out of the bumper. There's also going to be one in here where the step is. But for the most part, this is the hammered finish. Everything else is black on the back of the bumper there. So before we can put that on the truck, I just got to build this light mount, so that's why I'm working on it here. I've added a wire from my license plate light on the bumper, and then I haven't run the harness for this yet. I can do that later. But I have to fabricate that. Last time I put some LED reverse lights on. These are just cheapo deals from Harbor Freight. As well, they actually use the same plug, so you could hook them up like that. They've got, I forget what these are called, but they've got a whole bunch of like standardized LED, cheapo LED lights that all use the same plugs. So I got that going on. But I'm excited to get the bumper on and take a look. I got the license plate light screwed in here. I just took two little stainless steel screws there. We're going to put on our trailer connector. Got a little Hotchkiss 7-pin with a 4-pin. And just like a universal one. It uses the 4-flat connector, which I've already wired on the truck previously, to hook up and run the lights. And then you got a white for ground, and then the blue wire here will go to the brake controller when I get that hooked up. So this guy just goes here in the hole. Get in there. Like that, boom. And then I've got it came with some screws, or just regular little like machine screws or whatever. Uh-oh, is this? Get in there. I've actually never had the screws in this, but I assume they would go because I drilled it off the... Oh, no! You kidding me? They don't appear to line up really good. That one goes in. I didn't try the screws before I painted it. That was a mistake. But there's a sheet metal bracket that comes with this that, you know, you can mount to the bumper or whatever. And I just used that as a template to drill the holes. And apparently, It must have a little slop in it because we got no hole line it up action here. Crap. Good thing we're not building a show truck. How about this one? Anybody? Hello? Dang it. How far off are they? Oh, dang, quite a bit. How in the world is that even possible? So, I gotta drill these a little bit bigger. There we go. That ought to be plenty now. What I'm gonna do, since now they're bare metal, so I got a little bit of grease here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of grease around each hole. Try to keep keep the bare metal from rusting a little bit. There we go. A little dab will do you. All right. Let's try that again. Now for the mud flaps here, I went to the trailer store of all places, and they've got mud flaps of all different shapes and sizes. These are, I think, 12 inches wide by 18 or something inches long, and they're thick. They're 1/4 inch thick rubber, but they're real cheap. They're $10 a piece. So I thought that was real reasonable. So back in here, I've got a piece of angle iron that mounts out to the side of the bumper on each side, and I specifically use that angle iron for a mount because I wanted somewhere to mount these mud flaps. Now they're going to mount to the outboard of the bumper because tires are brought to the outboard, and they're just going to mount right up to this angle iron and hang below the bumper behind the fenders a few inches. And just because this truck's so tall and it's got the mud tires, it could throw rocks and stuff, you know, at cars behind me. And there's nothing cooler than an old truck going down the road, a set of old rubber mud flaps hanging under it. There, you know, Yosemite Sam, back off or whatever. And Chrome Lady mud flaps, you know, stuff like that. So I got these guys, and we're just going to drill the angle iron and bolt them right up on. Pre-punched or pre-molded knockouts. I'm just going to drill them. I'm going to put some 5/16 bolts in of fender washers and probably put 4 of them on there just so they got something really to bite on. All right, I got the mud flap drilled out and ready for install here. You see I got my big fender washers and stuff on here. And it should just want to go like this if I drilled it right. We've had a bad run of not having holes line up, but I think we're going to be okay this time. Boom, look at that. Now this is a good opportunity to use up some of my grade 2 and grade 5 hardware because, you know, they're not really going to do much except just hold on to this rubber. There's no actual load on them. So I went through my bolt bin because usually I buy all grade 8 hardware just because I can buy it at the Tractor Supply Company bulk, but so I don't rarely ever use anything that's not grade 8 anymore. But this is a good application to use up this hardware that's... Now, am I going to be able to reach these? So really need an extension. Got nylock nuts on the back side, so this should, you know, it should not want to loosen up here. We'll just snug them down till the rubber's encapsulated like that. Don't got to go super tight or, you know, over tight and stress the rubber out. Just enough to grip her on there. Boom, just like that. Got mud flap action. I'm just going to rattle can a little black onto here and throw the other one on, and then we'll get the bumper down and put it on the truck. I like it. Well, I'm going to do this and let the paint dry. I got a shout out. Shout out to Hot Rod Jimmy. He's out tending the chickens and collecting the eggs. He must have a big basket. He's got a lot of chickens. So shout out to my buddy Hot Rod Jimmy. Okay, it's time to put the bumper on, and I have a feeling this might get difficult. Oh, here, I got the light. I painted up the bracket down here. Can you see it? It's down here. Down there, painted up the bracket, the light's mounted, so we can put the bumper on. It's very, very heavy. This will be a good two-person job, but at 11:30 at night, there's nobody around. So let me, oh. Oh yeah, she's heavy, all right. Oh no. Let's see, can I use the chair? Whoa. Man, this thing's heavy. I took it off myself, so should be able to put it back on, but now I've hung. Oh, come on. Holy smokes. Come on. Ah. Woo. Man, that's heavy. Ah. What a disaster. So how in the world are we going to get this up on the truck now without completely destroying everything? I don't know. Great. The space blanket was dirty and now there's grease. Oh no, impregnated into the paint on both sides. Son of a gun. Are you serious? That immediately ruined that. No. Dang it. Let's try a little bit of cleaner here. Is this going to take the paint off? Hope not. Let's just try it. I got to get this grease out of the paint. Nope. Not touching it. Shoot. Right where you see it, too. Son of a gun. This is why you don't build shiny stuff and paint stuff. I'm building nothing but junk from now on because I'm tired of trying to mess with shiny crap, even though this truck's not shiny. This is ridiculous. Crap. Okay, maybe I can use... Oh, there goes the paint. This is... This is unfortunate at best, this dirt in the paint. Rubbing it makes it worse. Well, I'll have to try to touch it up later. Let's use that. What I gotta do is try to maybe set it up on here, on top of here, and get it going. Unfortunately, the thing wants to razzle-dazz because it's so heavy this way. But there's no easy way to... Oh! There it goes. Crap! Now it's gonna get stuck in the chair. Come on, get out of the way. Here we go. Oops, 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 oops. Almost there. Why is it? Yup. Okay. Well, let's sit right there for now. Okay. Woo! We're almost there. Ooh, I like the mud flaps. All right. This somehow is... It's bound on something. What's it bound on? Go, 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 go. Man, if it's tight. How's that look? Like it. I try to get the bolts in. Oh no. Can't see nothing. Oh, we're in the ballpark here. Can I get a bolt? Where it's got to go up. There we go. Why? What in the world? It's got to be close to where it goes. Let me try to get one bolt on each side. This is a struggle for sure. Oh. Yep. Getting there. Almost there. Oh. Whew. Got it. Okay, I got the bolts all tightened down. What I'm doing now is I've got some of this material here, and it came in big pieces. It's almost like friction tape for grip tape for a skateboard. I don't know what it's for. I can't remember where I got it, but it's sticky on the back. What I want to do is plate this bumper with it where you would step, like on here on the step plate, and I want to do on the top of this here. So we're going to cut it out. I've already cut out the piece for here that goes on the step area. So I specifically didn't spray a lot of hammer tone on the top, like real coarse, so I could get this and make a smoother surface for this. And I've already cut this piece out, obviously, because I've got it in my hand. You're looking right at it. But I want to go and apply this onto the bumper. What in, if I can get the backing off, we can do it. Come on, man, get off there. You got to be kidding me. Stuff is super sticky. I'm going to try not to touch it, but I've already test fit it. Oh, easier said than done. Don't stop. It's already stuck. Well, it is what it is. One and done right there. Oh yeah, that stuff is on there. So that'll make a nice slip-free surface, and it'll prevent scratches and stuff stepping in here. So now I want to get cut out. I've got bigger pieces of it here. It's going to go, and it's going to cover the whole top of the bumper, probably right here, this shape. I'll leave a little exposed on the edge here, but we'll stick this on right over here to the diamond plate, make a nice transition there. There we go. Cut that out real fast and lay it up on there. And that covers the whole top of the bumper and leaves the edge right to there and leaves the edge right to there. I think I'll just do it right on the whole thing, right edge to edge. Let me get back and yeah, I like that. I'll do it right edge to edge. This time I'm gonna start the paper back a little bit instead of peeling the whole thing off, because that was like sticking it once and done. I'm gonna start the smart way and just attach it at the edge and go from there. If I can get it started again, come on. All right, this time we'll be smart. How's that? It doesn't look too bad. Man, this stuff goes on. It goes on once and you're done. Man, I really like the silver and black together. That looks trick. Tie that in there. It gives me, takes away the step up going into, makes the diamond plate look like it makes sense now. That's super awesome. This bumper won't be slippery. I can stand on it, not scratch it all up. I've got to drill my holes back through here, cut my holes for my loops that go on there, but that looks super awesome. Super awesome. Go ahead and get this side on, and they'll make, man, that makes the bumper. All right, bam, there we go, bumper installed. I had to roll the truck back so I can get some more working room. But man, look how cool that is. I got my license plate on. Got my mud flaps hanging down. They're going to be perfect. Got the cord here. We're going to probably try to run the harness for that. I bolted the D-ring loops back on here. They're a little stiff on the fabric there, but this will keep it rattling from wearing the paint off the bumper at least. It'll just wear the paint off them, which that's all right. It's going to happen. So speaking of that light, let's go up here. Here is the harness for this light here. And this is the Harbor, like I said, the Harbor Freight RoadShock LED. So they've got, this is the light we got on the back, a little light bar, or well, they have different size light bars, but we got the 6-inch light bar. Or it comes with a splitter in the kit that you can run little separate cube lights, but I'm just running the one light. But I want to say this is like 28 or 30 bucks. And it comes with a whole harness here, so this is the back end that plugs into the light. We got a relay, I think it's a 40 amp, yep, 40 amp relay, 12 volt relay. We got a lighted switch, so it'll go on the dash somewhere, turn the light on and off. That has got a connection so you can unplug it. This thing's made for like UTVs and stuff like that off-road, but hopefully it's going to be long enough to reach the back of the truck. And to hook it up to the battery, you got a 30 amp fuse in this fuse holder, and then positive, negative. I have the external secondary fuse block I added to this truck under the dash. It's a little dark in here, but see there, I've got spade connectors, and I've got a 10 circuit panel under the dash here. So I'm thinking about, that's also battery power. So I'm thinking about cutting this down, getting rid of the inline fuse, and not hooking this up to the battery and just hooking it up to my fuse panel, because I have a feeling this harness is going to be a little bit short. Here, where are we here? I could extend it if I have to with the splitter here. It comes with a splitter. If you had the two lights, that's another like 80 inches. But then I would have a spare connector hanging out back, which maybe I could... Oh, wait a minute now. Let's think about this. If I did that, I could have a secondary light maybe mounted on the roll bar. Oh, it's farther than... I could extend the harness, but then I could have that light turn on and a light up top turn on for like a bed light. That's an idea. But I think what I want to do is try to get this strung out and see what is going on with the length. I mean, I don't want to have the relay outside the truck. I was going to put it like under the hood here, like on the firewall or on the fender, but we could put it inside the cab if I'm going to use the inside fuse, keep it right in and out of the weather. Got to get across the back and go down the frame rail, get to the light, go over here. So let's just approximate something like that. How can I? It's about right. And a runner down. This simulates running it down the frame rail. Aha! That's just what I thought. Not long enough. Because of, you know, it's meant for UTV, which is considerably shorter than a 8-foot step-side truck. But that's why I'm saying, if I use my internal fuse block, put the relay inside the truck, like, would probably mount it behind the seat or in the corner of the cab here. That would work. Or I could use that splitter and make this thing considerably longer, but, you know, if I put it in the cab, it'd be kind of contained. All right, I got the light wired up here. It's all plugged in. I did have to end up taking that splitter harness because the harness ended up being, it stopped. I ran it on the passenger side. It ended up stopping like by that second bed brace. So I took the splitter harness and I cut the one end of it off and then I used it and added it to the second end, so it's got a butt splice in it. But it got me back enough now where I'm plugged in back here behind the bumper with a plug-in. I ran the wire all the way down the passenger side, then came into the cab under the heater box with the harness here. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, I might have left this on. So over there, if you can see past the shifter, see that white thing under the heater box? That's the zip tie holder. The wire comes around. I've mounted the relay upside down here under the dash by the gas pedal, and I ran my wires over. There's the green 30 amp fuse. The red wire is the power wire. The plug, the switch here, it's got a real long extension. I haven't mounted it up yet. I'll coil this up under the dash, but we're going to do a test here. I'll show you what it looks like. So everything's run off that fuse panel, so turn the battery on. And now we got power to that, and the switch is lighted, so listen for the relay click. It's kind of hard to hear, but the relay clicked on, so now when the light's lit up, it tells you light's on. If we come to the back of the truck, bam! How bright is it? Ah, it's bright! Yikes. Here and look at it. So this ought to work good, you know, for plowing. It'll make a horizontal beam across the ground in the back. It should be really good for backing up and plowing in the dark, you know. So, oops. So I've just got to figure a place to mount that. I'm either going to drill a hole in the dash or make a little tab. I don't really want to drill extra holes in the dashboard if I don't have to. But I might make a little sheet metal tab and mount it under the dash. I'd really like to mount it right over here, kind of there, but I really don't want to put a hole. Actually, could I go over here? Yeah, it's all plain. Yeah, if you're down there, you could just click it on. You know, it won't be real visible. If I drilled over here, down in this panel over here, it'll be kind of hidden over here. It's kind of like factory, and you can see his stuff through the window. I guess I kind of want to leave that as it is. So I'll coil the extra up and mount it over here like that in the dash, and then I'll just have it click on and off. I don't have a throttle cable hooked up to it, and I had one and it was way wrong. We still got two V8s. I had a throttle cable here. There's a bracketry and it hooked onto the side of the thermoquad. And so the same thing should happen to Holly, but it didn't line up. Unless I had the throttle cable from the wrong truck, I could have had it from the 88 cab. So I'm going to go look for that now, or look for a cable that could work, or I might have to buy an aftermarket cable, because that's the one thing that's not hooked up is the throttle cable. But after that, this thing should be able to start up, move, and drive. We could back it out of the garage. I do want to get where is it? I do want to get the transmission tunnel fixed and try to get that on there, because I don't want it sitting outside, especially in winter where there's mice and stuff around outside looking for a place to go. Obviously, there's a huge hole here with nothing in it. If you can see that, is it kind of dark? It's dark. Well, trust me, you can see there's a hole there. So I would really like to get the transmission cover on before it goes outside, so no mice can get up through there very easily and get into the cab and ruin it immediately before the truck's even on the road. But that requires quite a bit of rust repair. It needs an all-new lip around that side. Needs a new lip all the way around that side. Needs some fixing around the shifter hole. So I had it blasted but not primed or nothing, because it was got to be fixed, and it's all still bare metal. Luckily, it hasn't really rusted too bad, but a lot of the metal's got to get cut out and redone, so I'm going to have to get on that soon. And I thought I saw a throttle cable down here. Is this it? That looks like a hood cable. Yeah, it's a hood cable that's broken off. But there might be another throttle cable down here somewhere in this pile of junk. Random cords. So here's one. I think this is the one that's too short here. Pretty sure it's the one that's too short. So I got to go on a scavenger hunt here for a minute and see if I can find a throttle cable, or see if I can find a different one. So let me do that, and I'll button up that switch inside the dash in the meantime. Okay, it's a couple days later. I'm under the hood here, getting the throttle cable hooked up. I started working on that. And the problem, like I said, I think I said the cable didn't fit. The one for the 80 Dodge cab, the original cab, doesn't fit this 88 cab. It's different, but I happen to have, luckily, the 88 throttle cable. But because this was fuel injected, it was this long. You see how long the cable is. It went way over to wherever the throttle body was. But I've cut it down, and I've made a bracket that bolts over here onto the carburetor. And if you look over there under the heater, it's hanging up there. And it's going to bolt onto this back carb stud. And with a cable clamp, it's going to clamp onto the cable over here. And then I've got my throttle return springs here, and I've made a bracket that bolts onto this bolt here, and I painted them hammer tone silver to match the bumper. But I've got this cable ready to go. I've cut it back, and now how are we going to attach it? I made some custom action. It's not the best scenario, but it's going to work. So here's what's going to happen to the cable. I'm going to cut that rubber coating off the outside. It's plastic on the inside, and this cable clamp is going to clamp onto it and hold it there. In the carburetor, I'm going to got this grade 8 quarter 20 bolt I've drilled right there, if you can see that little hole. The cable's going to slide through there. It's going to have a nylock nut to hold this so I can snug it up so this still turns in the carburetor, but tight enough where it doesn't wobble around. The cable will go through here, and then over here in a box of junk of new stuff here, I've got these Dorman cable clamps. The slip over cable, these brass pieces, you slide the cable through it, then put the set screw on the end of it. So we'll put one of these, or maybe we'll double them up if there's enough, put two on it so we got a extra security, and clamp the end of the cable through the bolt, on this side, so then it pulls on the bolt and runs the throttle. I think it should work okay. I could buy an aftermarket throttle cable, but they're like $30-40, and since I had this one, I've had the aftermarket ones come apart before. They're kind of chintzy, and they're pretty inexpensive, so they made out of not real durable parts, and I've had them break before a couple times. So if I use this factory cable, this thing's pretty, it's gone all these years. So I'm going to notch this back, clamp on there, and then this will go through here, and then I'll cut it off eventually. But it should work. Okay, well, I had to bolt my brackets on off camera because my battery ran out on the camera. I forgot to charge it last night. So anyways, it's together, but I'll show you what I did. So these cable deals here, like I said, they see the hole there. This is one of the bigger ones. The cable goes through the hole, then you tighten the screw down on the cable. And I did that here. It's under the electrical tape. I'm afraid, there's no lock washer and just pressure on the cable. I was afraid that the screw could back out. So I put two of these on there, and then I wrapped them in electrical tape just so they would stay, not back off. But anyways, I've got my bracket on the back of the carburetor there, a little piece of 1-inch flat stock, using that cable clamp, like I said there, holding the cable. And then I've also got my bracket for the throttle return springs there, and it's got good tension on it here. They work nice there. So you can see how it works here. It goes wide open. I don't know if my hand's probably in the way, but the cable doesn't bind. These like I said, there are two of the jobbers on here, and I taped them up, but they're just kind of riding there. And I put this little bit of tape on here to keep the cable from going backwards, because there's a little bit of, the pedal didn't go all the way to the floor before it went to wide open throttle, and I didn't want to really wail on the cable. If you ever floored it, I didn't want to wail on the cable, so I put some slop in the cable so the pedal would be closer to the floor. So now the pedal touches the floor at wide open throttle, so you won't just potentially break the cable if you jammed it to the floor. So you guys watch that. I'll run the throttle. You can see what I mean. Boom. Works mint. So I put two of those jobbers on there just because I was worried about them pulling off. And this isn't the best scenario, but the cable fits. And I left a tail on the cable here. If these loosen up and slide off or whatever, or get out of adjustment, they do make little aluminum ferrules you can clamp on and mush onto the cable with pliers or whatever. so I could do that or figure something else out. But I think I'll be all right. And my bolt here, you can see it's got a nylock nut on it through here, so it shouldn't ever loosen up. It should stay like this. I left just a little bit of slop in it so it can roll around and not get bound or anything like that. So everything is free to move, and I think it should be fine. Most of the time, you know, you're going to go part throttle. It doesn't have to move that far, and this cable is nice and thick stainless steel factory throttle cable, so I trust it. It should be pretty heavy duty. And this guy's locked down really good here. It's not going anywhere. There's like a steel inner shield and then a plastic shield and then this rubber on the outside. So I cut the rubber away and a clamp grabs onto the plastic. So this thing's locked in. Everything is super tight and rigid. We got good spring tension there. You always want to have 2 springs on your throttle. If you had a single spring and it breaks, then you got, you know, no return spring. So they sell these at the auto parts store, like in the help section. They're like $6. So it's got a double spring there, and we are fully throttle cabled now. I mean, I can't wait to drive this truck. It's registered and everything on the windshield there. It's got registration, and it's almost ready to go. Like, needs new wheels and tires put on it, stuff like that. But we're really in the home stretch. Just a few more things to go on with it, and then should be able to start driving it around a little bit. I'm not going to ruin it in the winter immediately with salt. I'm going to fluid film it. Eventually, I might need to use it like in huge snowstorms and stuff if I, you know, whatever. But we're not going to trash it right away this year by driving it in salt. I'm going to wait till... I don't want to do that. But too much money and time has gone in it to immediately ruin it. So it's going to sit outside till springtime, and then we can put some miles on it. And this truck will be, fingers crossed, barring any like huge fiascos, this truck will be at the Truck Nationals in Carlisle, Pennsylvania this August. My friend Ted and I are going to go down, and we're going to drive this guy all the way down to Carlisle with the snowplow. Not on it, but we'll have the snowplow on it at the show. And if you want to come and see it in person at Carlisle, should be there. Knock on Brown Dodge. It should be there in August at the Truck Nationals at Carlisle, Pennsylvania this year. So super excited, but like I said, got to get it out of here in the next couple of days so I can bring the 37 Ford in. I've got about 3.5 weeks to get that functional and make my trailer covered to use in the wintertime to haul it out to Hamburg, New York to the cavalcade of cars. So I'll be working on that very shortly. Maybe 1 or 2 more videos on this, and then we'll bring the 37 in. Next time, maybe we'll make some noise. Maybe we'll move it around. I don't know. Or we'll finish it up and get ready to move. I don't know. Whatever it is, you'll see it here. Right here. Bam. At the Quick Speed Shop. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends. We'll see you next time.